All right, so let's jump into this. I want to welcome everyone. My name's Vince. I want to welcome you to another presentation of Novedge's Best of the Best webinar series. I want to thank all of you again for joining us today. We're really excited not only to present Bluebeam, but to have Stuart Themudo on board presenting for us. Before we get going, I just want to give a little background on Stuart. He's an industry specialist at Bluebeam. He draws on years of design and construction experience to help architectural, engineering, and construction firms develop digital workflows. Previously at Gensler, Stuart leveraged BIM technologies for design and coordination of aviation and transportation projects. Stuart holds a Master's of Architecture from the University of Cincinnati. Stuart's a great guy, and we're really in for a treat with his presentation today. Thank him again for doing this. Stuart's going to speak for about the next 40 minutes or so. During that time, everyone will be in listen-only mode, but definitely feel free to shoot your questions into the question box. At the end, we'll open it up for a Q&A, and we'll get to as many questions as time allows. Additionally, we will be recording this webinar, so if for any reason you have to leave early, we will send you a link so you can watch this webinar again and again if you so choose. Having said all that, I want to turn it over to Stuart so we can jump right into his presentation. Stuart, are you there?
Great. Yes, I am. Thanks, Vince.
Cool. I'm going to switch the screen to you and let you take it from here.
Fantastic. All right. Looks like we're showing my screen now. Thanks for the great introduction, Vince. We're really excited to share this presentation with you on behalf of Novedge about Bluebeam Revu. We're excited to show you about Revu 10. This release is especially exciting for us, all of us here at Bluebeam, honestly, because it marks our 10-year anniversary. We just released this in March of this year, and in our opinion, Revu 10 is truly the best release ever. It really pushes the limits of collaboration, cloud storage, and project collaboration. It really delivers the tools that enable you to do what you do better without compromise. It's really artfully designed to be undefined, as we call it. We've really taken your suggestions, asked questions, and pushed the limits of PDF in order to deliver a version of Revu that really transforms the way you work. Well, let's stop talking now and really see what Revu can do in action. So as I hit my escape key, you'll see that I'm presenting some slides in PDF format. And this is the new redesigned interface. Everything is organized through a command bar, so I can easily access all the functionality within Revu. So if I click on my file icon here, I can get all the things associated with file. Same thing with view. Gives you access to things that might want to change the way you interact with the command bar. So if I need to change the way the interface appears, I can use my profiles. So I'm going to change now to the Office profile, and you'll see that the interface will be arranged, showing new toolbars and icons here to get to my markup tools. We still have the ability to open and close panels on the left, on the right, as well as the bottom. But to get to these panels, we have a quick way to access them via the tab access. So any of the tabs you want to get straight to, use the tab access, this orange down arrow right above. Also with the toolbars, you can always right-click and turn on and off different toolbars, but now we have a way to actually pin tools to the toolbar. So one of the tools I use often is the Lasso Tool. So if I go to find my Lasso Tool, under Edit, Select, and Lasso, you'll see once I hover over it, I've got a little thumbtack, yellow thumb pushpin. If I click on that, it'll allow me to actually add this tool to one of my existing toolbars, or I can even create a new one. So I'm going to create this new one called Favorites. And you'll see that now this toolbar has appeared with the lasso right in the interface. So I can build up a custom toolbar just showing the favorites that I use frequently. In an effort to be able to navigate more efficiently through the interface, I can also leverage the power of hyperlinks in a PDF. So if I jump over to my PDF file here, as the drawing file, and I show you my thumbnails here on the left to show this is a multi-page PDF, you'll see that I've put a little pre-thought into this setup and created a smart drawing set. So if I go to my index page here for this project and zoom in a little bit closer to my sheets, you'll notice that as I hover over some of these sheets, I get my hyperlink cursor. So here's the pan cursor and here's the hyperlink. If I want to go straight to this page, I just click on it and it'll jump straight to that page. So again, making an easy to navigate drawing set. If I open up my links panel, again by going to tab access, links, you'll notice that all my hyperlinks are composed by page. So if I want to jump to certain hyperlinks, I can do that. You'll also notice that I've hyperlinked my callouts to go to detail references. So for this column detail, this callout here, if I select it, it'll jump me straight to that reference in my details page within this same set. Something new with Revu is the ability to reference places. So if I go back to my page 4, which is my floor plan here, I've shown that this detail link has already been hyperlinked to easily navigate the set. Well, if I've got another detail that I want to link, and you see now with my cursor, this one is not currently hyperlinked for the elevators, I want to create a new hyperlink for it. Well, new with 10 is this feature called places. So if I have a hyperlink destination that's going to be used over and over again, I can create a place. So if I want to create a new place, I just hit the plus bar here, give it a name. And instead of jumping to a page, I want to actually go to a snapshot view of the elevator detail on my detail page. I'm going to say get rectangle. I'm going to navigate to that detail page. Let's jump over to my thumbnails here to get to it quickly. And on my details page, I want to reference this detail over and over with that call out. So this is going to be my place. This is the elevator detail. I'm going to select OK. So back to my page 4, which is the floor plan. I've got this place now saved as the elevator, and I can very easily just grab my hyperlink tool. If I move this bar a little bit, very easily grab my hyperlink tool under markup and just draw a rectangle to create a hyperlink. But there might be more than one call out in this set. So I'm actually going to use my visual search command by using, again, tab access search. Using my visual search command to actually find every single occurrence of this call out in this particular sheet. So I'm going to select just this current page, and I'm going to select, let's get a rectangle of this detail marker. So I want to find all the instances of this detail on this page. I'm going to set my sensitivity a couple clicks lower to make sure I find all the instances on this current page and select search. So now Revu is going to be searching for that call out anywhere it appears on this page. Let's try that one more time just to make sure we got it right. So I'm going to go back to my visual search, get the rectangle, draw a rectangle around the number of the call out here. And let's go ahead and just zoom out a little bit here. And try the search again. Well, so it looks like I wasn't able to find anything in this document, so I'm just going to go the good old-fashioned way and just hyperlink it this way. So within my hyperlink manager, like I said, we've got the ability now to just draw a rectangle around the area that you want to hyperlink to. So by selecting that place, I've already got it in my pull down here to hyperlink to that elevator detail. So by selecting OK and making sure I'm using relative paths, I've now generated a hyperlink. So you'll now see that there's a new hyperlink on this page. As I hover over and click on this call out detail, it'll take me directly to that detail on the details page. Let's keep moving. Again, I can hyperlink many of these details over and over as we go through the set to make this easy navigable set so that multiple people that open the PDF can easily find which details and which pages they need to reference without having to flip through every single page. Also with the the links in my Hyperlinks Manager here, if I need to, let's say, change out a detail or update it, I can multi-select these links in the Hyperlink Manager here, and I just hit Edit Action. And if I need to update these to a new detail reference, let's say the furring detail is, I want to refer these back to as number 5, I can quickly select all those, update the place detail, and select OK. And now, as you see in my Hyperlink Manager, all those have been updated to the furring detail on detail number 5 on the sheet. So, quick and easy way to reference and then update those sets using the Hyperlink Manager, which is new to Review 10. Another thing that's available with Review 10 is the ability to create projects. Now, projects makes drawings and files available to team members, the consultants, or anyone else who would need access to these files without actually connecting to your network. So what we've done is we've created this new project feature within the Studio tab. You'll notice that my project can host, let's see, I've got my Sundance Resort project right here. Let's go ahead and open that. You'll see with the project I can host not only PDFs, but I can also hold folders of other file types. So you'll see I have Word documents, I can have Excel documents, and think of it as a simple DMS, a simple document management system, a way that you can share files online through the Bluebeam Revu interface, and not just PDFs, but also other file types. You can add these files to sessions just by right-clicking on the file itself. You can check it out, or you can add to sessions, as I was saying. If you're familiar with our Bluebeam sessions, we'll be showing that a little bit later about how people can collaborate on PDF for answering questions. All right. So, one of the workflows that we often see is the ability of communicating from the architect back to the contractor, back and forth during the construction process. So, using the Studio sessions, if I click on my Studio icon, and I have a session that I've created already called the Project 10 session. So I'm going to open this session, and you'll see that the files that I have open with the little blue icon, those are my files that are in the Studio session here under Documents. You also see I have all my attendees under the attendees list, as well as a full record of all the activity below in the Studio session. So I'm going to close this panel just to get a little more real on my screen and open up my tool chest. I've created a tool set specifically to deal with finished carpentry. So let's say I'm the contractor, and I'd like to initiate a session with the architect. Now, to host a session, I'll need a registered copy of Revu, but to attend that session, I can invite people that might not have Revu yet, and they can download a free trial of Revu to connect to a Studio session, or they can also download our free PDF viewer called VU. That way they can connect to Studio sessions and mark up, as well as view PDFs locally on their PC. So I've got a floor plan here that I'd like to ask a question with the architect. So I'm going to make a quick note here on the doors of this particular floor plan, and I'm going to ask the question, are submittals required for the guest room doors? And you'll notice that I have these control points that I can move and resize this call-out that I created on the actual drawing. So I'm going to open up my Studio panel again, and you'll see that when attendees are in the session, they'll light up with this little orange man. And I can also see in the chat record anything that's going on in the session. So Allison is showing here that answer the yes, she'll upload the specifications. So you see now that she's uploaded a new document, which is the specifications for the doors. Again, there's a new feature in Review 10 that other attendees can add documents, I'm going to point out. And quickly, I can see as she's making notes in this session and click right on the activity that she's doing. So if I click on the chat message here, you'll see it'll jump to that exact location where Allison was looking when she uploaded that document. And sure enough, it looks like submittals are required for these wood doors as in the specifications for the wood door. So great. I got a quick response back from the architect, all live within a studio session, and I didn't have to send around emails or make a bunch of phone calls and so on and so forth. I just started a studio session, asked the question, the architect responded, and we got it taken care of very quickly and easily. Now, if I want to create a record for covering my you-know-what in the future, I might want to save a record copy down. So as the host, I have the ability to save all these files to a local network drive or a local drive. So if I click on the record button here, you'll see I can create a PDF package report with the title, and I can include all the documents, all the report, etc., in this PDF package. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this to my desktop as a way of archiving this session so we have it for reference in the future should we need to look at it again. And it looks like it's already downloaded very quickly. You'll notice that in the report, if I close this panel a little bit, you'll notice in the report it will list all the attendees in the session. It will list the documents in that session, as well as all the activity, whether anyone joined or left the session, any comments that were made to a document, as well as new documents that were added. So if I click on any of these entries, you'll see it's hyperlinked to the actual document. So I can see exactly one-to-one what was stated in the record and what was shown on the plan. Everything's already hyperlinked for me when I download that to my local drive. So super way to archive this for meeting notes, for RFI interactions, for even design collaboration. Document that interaction, so if you need to refer back to it later, it's all hyperlinked and easy to access in the future. So I'm going to close out or just leave this session. Sessions can remain open as long as you want. You just select leave to exit a specific session. You can go about your work locally. Let's close a few of these files also just to clean up the interface. So one of the things as construction continues, the contractor might have a question on site about some stairway handrails. So we'd like to go through a workflow now of how you would be able to use Revu and PDF to facilitate that RFI process in construction. So generate an RFI. I'm first going to select New to create a new PDF. I can create a blank PDF, or I can go to one of my templates that I have preloaded. By default, you'll have these templates, and you're free to include or import any template that you might want to use for your company. So I've got a Revu, an RFI template here. I'm going to add a blank page to the back of it and select OK. So just for formalities, we've got an actual RFI listed here that we want to execute. We want to send off to the architect. Again, I'm acting as the general contractor. And we will need a response back by tomorrow. Please get on it. So the question is that we have here is, do the handrails extend at the landings? Now, we all know that this could be generic to any handrails, to any landing. So from the construction standpoint, from the contractor standpoint, I want to include a sketch or a piece of this floor plan in this RFI. So I'm going to grab my snapshot tool under Edit, Snapshot, and I can just drag an area here of this stairway that I want to include. You'll see the screen will flash blue quickly, signifying that it has created a copy. And I'm just going to right-click and paste into my new document here. As I paste that into the document, you'll notice it's a one-to-one copy of the original document. I'm just going to scale it up because there's no need to retain that one-to-one scale for this particular sketch. I'm also going to right-click and flatten so that I don't have accidentally move that pasted snapshot that I created. So now, from the construction standpoint, I would either hit my email button, which would call up my Outlook message and automatically attach this PDF to send it off to the architect, or I can save it in my appropriate folder here to refer to it later. So now we've sent this off to the architect, and the architect receives it and says, well, where are the handrails? At what landing? It looks like I've got an image here of what particular landing that the contractor is asking about. And to get a little more detail, I'm going to say, yep, the handrails extend 12 inches past landing. But another thing that I'd like to include is actually some 3D information to show how that that handrail might extend. Now, again, I could show with just clouds or even my dimension tools here in my markups, or I could insert a 3D PDF. So what I'm going to do is insert a 3D PDF. So by hitting Edit, 3D Editor, it's going to ask me to place an area to which to include the 3D PDF. I've exported a U3D file from Revit, and I'm going to insert that here. Got a couple options here to change the background color as well as some lighting and rendering. I'm just going to keep that how it is by default right now and hit OK. So now you see I've got an actual 3D model in a PDF. There's nothing special about this. It's a .pdf file extension. But I'm able to navigate, orbit, pan, and zoom in this 3D model. I'm also able to zoom in to areas of this PDF and actually mark up in 3D. So as I highlight this area of the landing and I grab my call-out tool, I can say, yes, handrails to extend 12 inches. And just like any markup in Review, I can very easily modify its properties using the fill commands, any of the opacity commands here, just to draw a little bit more attention to these markups should I need to. You'll also notice that in the left panel here, if I open my 3D model tree, these views are named. So currently, this is just a markup view. But if I want to add a little bit more information, I can actually call this the RFI number so the contractor knows exactly what it's referring to. So again, I can zoom out and navigate through this model. This blue markup indicator, this little sphere here, tells me that there is a 3D markup in this file. I click on it, and you'll see it'll take me directly to that view. If I just hover over the markup indicator, you'll see it gives me that view name. As well, if I want to just browse through multiple views here in the left in the 3D model tree, I can click on that, and it'll take me directly to the marked up view in 3D. So I'm getting a little carried away here. I'm just trying to respond to this RFI. So let's finish up that workflow before too long. So I've responded in the text fields here what the RFI response is. I've also want to make sure I sign this. So I'm going to grab my RFI tool set that I created, add my Brian Collins signature. That's who I'm acting as right now. Also put in a text field here for the stamp. We're going to say we actually answered this ahead of schedule, just like that. As well as we're going to add a stamp to this sketch here at the bottom just so that we know it was created in-house here. So I've got a stamp that I've pre-assembled using the PDF stamps available in Review as well, right here. And it's got some auto field that it fills in for me. You'll see the date field will automatically populate as well as the person that uses that stamp. So again, quick ways to answer these RFIs, include some 3D information, as well as quickly respond to them by hitting the email. So again, if I'm recording these in my folder, I would want to save it as an answered RFI. And that's the RFI. Now, I mentioned that this U3D file was created directly out of Revit. I will be happy to show you that plugin at the end here, just to show you how we integrate with Revit and Revit files to be able to export into 3D PDF as well. So I wanted to keep moving along here. In addition to RFIs, we do have some great workflows for document comparison as well as slip sheeting. So as RFIs are going to be sent back and forth during the project, one thing I do want to add to conclude that RFI process was you'll notice that I'm actually keeping track of my RFIs here. So that last one that the contractor made, I actually want to record that by clouding it and putting a text box here. And I want to do this just so that if there are any questions, I can actually make this a smart hyperlink like I've been doing with the entire set to actually reference that RFI. So again, just by hyperlinking, drawing a box around that number, I can actually hyperlink to a file as well as places on the PDF. So I'm going to open this file, the answered RFI that I've saved in my directory, and select OK. So now you'll see I've got this assembled RFI note that if I want to see what that RFI was, I just select the RFI button. It'll open up that RFI as well as the responses that went along with it. You'll notice that other places on this drawing have also done the same, and they're all linked back to those RFIs. So if I need to reference them, I don't have to go hunting for them through the folder. I just click on the hyperlink and it'll open them for me automatically. Again, as the project is moving along and drawings are revised, not only am I keeping track of the RFIs by hyperlinking and using simple markup tools on the PDF, I can also look at comparing documents. So one of the things that we have optimized now with Review 10 is the ability to add a little bit more functionality to our overlay pages. I'm going to modify just this interface just a little bit here. And I'm going to go to my file access to get to some files that I want to demo with. So you notice here I've got my full 42 by 30 by 42 PDF set. And in this file here, I've actually got an 11 by 17. This is a sketch that was issued by the architect somewhere around grid lines 30, 31, and 32. There's been a change to these guest rooms. So before I slip sheet this file completely out, I'd like to do a quick overlay pages to see exactly what's changed. So under Document, Comparison, and Overlay Pages, I can quickly call up these existing files. So since they're already open, Review is going to say, hey, are these the files you want to open up? I don't need these webinar slides, but I'd like to open this sketch. I can modify the colors of the line work to be changed so that I can see quickly what lines are with what file, as well as which lines are with the sketch file. Now, you remember I pointed out the size of the document. The full drawing size is 30 by 42, and the sketch was 11 by 17. Previously, there was a really a roundabout way to do this, but with Review 10, what we've got now is the ability to align points. So what I'm going to do now is select Align Points, and it's going to ask me to choose 3 points, not 4. Again, we're saving clicks here. We know efficiency is important to all our users. So only 3 points on the document to manually align these two sets. So I'm going to zoom in to this, again, column 30, 31, and 32. Somewhere in here there's a change. You notice I have my content snap turned on, and that's actually great because it's going to snap to underlying content in this PDF. So I'm just going to select the interior wall intersections for these locations. And again, this third spot here, I'm going to select. And Review is going to automatically jump me to the next file that I've selected in my overlay pages. So it's going to also snap to this drawing since it was created from AutoCAD, and it does retain the vector information. And I have to choose them in the same order here, 1, 2, and 3. And now it's going to be bringing me back to my overlay pages dialog that I can modify the colors. So I've changed my mind. Instead of blue, I actually want to see these in green. So I'm going to change that color to a nice bright green so I can see that stand out. Once I select OK, Review is going to overlay these pages, kind of like a light table, if you're familiar with a light table back in the day. So it's going to overlay these two drawings. It's going to colorize them to the colors that I've assigned. And anywhere there's an exact overlap, it's going to color them to black. Anywhere that there's a difference, it's going to shine through those colorized files. You'll see that Review is also asking me about layers. What Review did was created a layered PDF with those two different files. And it's asking me if I would like to open the Layers tab. I said, sure, thanks, Review. As I zoom in, you'll see that this area of the document has a lot of dark line work. Again, that's where the lines overlap exactly and have turned to a shade of dark brown or black. You'll see where they're not identical, I can actually see the differences. So here, I see in my original document, which I selected to red, had this closet and it looked like I had a full restroom. Well, this sketch I remember seeing was something to do about some ADA modifications. So what's happened now, the architect has actually removed this closet to allow for a little bit more clearance for wheelchair access, as well as a roll-in shower, the 5-foot radius here for turnaround, as well as the appropriate plumbing fixtures and grab bars in that toilet room. Looks like it's not just room 1240, but it's also room 1243. So as a contractor now, I can see what this change is and what capacity is before I slip sheet it into my set. So if I'd like to slip sheet this set, I can close my overlay pages. Now that I've seen quickly what that change was, this is my sketch. Let's go over to the full set. Let's go back into the thumbnails view. You'll notice on this sheet, in my thumbnails, I can right-click and replace pages to digitally slip sheet out that new revision, which will also keep all my hyperlinks and markups. Alternatively, I can also create a layered PDF to create a new layer. So let's create a new layer in this file to make sure that we retain that old drawing as well as the new layer with this new bulletin. So to create a new layer, I'm going to add a new layer right here. And I want to add the file, which is going to be that new bulletin that was issued. Not the sketch, but the actual full sheet that was issued. I can also modify the colors, or I can keep them the same color as they are. Make sure that line work is black as it's included, and select OK. Again, I'm going to be adding a new layer to this PDF so that I can see any revisions that come through on this sheet. I can refer back to them. So as we note here, I have this layer now with the bulletin turned on. As I turn off this layer, you'll see I still have the old version of the drawing. If we look at the bathroom here, you'll see how that changed. So a great way to keep a record of any changes of the drawing within the set, but also keep your original files there handy in case you need to refer back to them. So moving right along here, again, close a few of these files. I want to talk a little bit about punch and back check. So as the project moves along, I'm going to close this file actually and open up a fresh file. I'm going to open up in my file here, I've got a punch file. So as the project moves closer to completion, Revu's punch tools and markup list tracking helps to eliminate any redundancy, and as well, it increases the accountability and productivity. So with Revu 10, something new that's called spaces has been introduced. This can be used to identify a zone or a room or any sort of space that you want to keep track of during the punch process. I've also got the ability to change profiles again. On our website, there's a punch profile you can download for free, which is optimized the interface as well as some tool sets that you can download for free to help get you going for the punch process. So as I open my punch profile in this drawing, you'll see I've got a couple spaces already created in this document. You also notice that my tool chest is opened up here on the left. Now, if I click on the Spaces tab up above, you see I've got two zones already created. I want to add a new zone here to help with my tracking in these rooms as I'm going through doing the punch list. So I'm going to zoom in and do a zone for this area of the project. All right, so I've selected an area. We're going to call this Zone 3. And once I do that, you'll see it'll populate not only in my spaces, but it'll also give me some options for modifying it. I'm actually going to change this color to green just so it stands out a little bit. So I've got a blue zone, an orange zone, and a green zone, very easily shown on the plan right here. Now, to do the punch process, I'd like to actually create little sheets instead of having all my sheets show up, all my punch items rather, shown up on this large sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a new document again just by hitting New. And again, I can use a blank page, or I can use my punch template. I've got a punch template that I've already created. I'm going to select OK. And now you'll see within the document I've got this template that just provides a nice title block and border here for me to use. Nothing fancy, just something to keep organized when I'm doing punch on the project using a tablet PC or otherwise. So again, I'm going to go to my punch, the full floor plan. I'm going to grab that snapshot tool, which, man, I got to tell you, I use this all the time to create copies of my drawings. So I'm going to just select the area of the Zone 3 that I've selected. And again, just right-click and paste that onto my template. So this is going to bring over everything into the file here. And I can flatten it for easy use. Let's do that one more time. Looks like I didn't grab the zone when I pulled it over. So let's just hit undo. Let's go back to my zone. And let's just do a quick snapshot of the zone itself. Again, right-click is your best friend in Revu. So click directly onto my spaces here, and I can create a snapshot of that zone. Super easy. Right-click and paste. There we go. Now I get the actual zone information as well as the underlying vector content from that PDF. And I can resize this. Scale is not very important to me, but I am going to flatten it so it doesn't get moved around on the page. Another thing I want to add, again, with these spaces is the ability to create individual rooms. So I can add just another level of information onto the spaces here to be able to show my specific rooms. So I'm just going to add a space. Again, I can keep my content turned off, or I can turn it off. I'd like to see my status bar on. So I'm going to turn this content off. And I'm going to draw a new space for this room. This room is 1232, so I'm going to type that in once, select OK, and now I've got a new space created right on top. Now I'd love to go through all four of these, so I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, and click a new room here. You'll notice that Revu is automatically increasing by 1 each one of these spaces, so I don't have to keep retyping it. As long as I do the rooms in order, I can just quickly populate these, and it'll remember what number I was on before, and I can just quickly, again, the key is quickly and efficiently prepare this drawing for when I go out in the field. And 1235. Awesome. So now I've created this zone here that I'm ready to punch and start using some of the punch keys. So let's go to the tool set again, and you can see that in my carpentry punch, I've got items here that I can just drop into the room as I see fit. So if there are issues here that the wall finish needs to be repaired, we can just drop those in. As well, if there's any grout issues, I can just drop those directly onto the PDF. I'll zoom in here so a little bit more you can see what this looks like. These punch keys, they carry information with them, so it's very easy for me to drop them on the drawing to see graphically, but also they'll be showing up in my markups list, which I'll show shortly. I can modify these punch keys on the fly. So if I need to, let's say I need to create a new punch key, I want to double-click this, and let's say I'm going to call this Repair and Paint. By using the properties of this punch, I'm going to keep it with Carpentry, but I want it to say Repair Wall and Paint. So very quickly, I just created a new punch key on my drawing, which I can then right-click, add to my tool set, and put it right back into my carpentry punch list right there. You'll see it's RP. Another thing I'd like to do when I'm in the field is always taking a bunch of photographs to document everything. So to add a photograph in Revu now, I just go to Markup, Image, and I go to a photograph that I'm either taking in the field with my tablet PC or something that I've saved locally on my desktop. So if there's a wall issue like this one right here, I can easily drop that in and use the arrow tool to show exactly where that problem occurs. So that way I've got not only recorded with my punch keys, but also I've got an actual image that will show exactly what the damage is to that wall. So as I've been placing these different markup tools, going through the different punch, through the different rooms, Revu is actually keeping track of all these for me in the markups list. So if I zoom out all the way, you'll see my markups that I've made on this punch. And if I open the markups list, we can see exactly how Revu is tracking all those. So Revu is tracking all of these markups on the PDF. You'll also notice that it's pulling in some more information that I didn't have before. Again, new with Spaces in Revu 10 is this ability to not only create zones, but also rooms. And that information will be transferred into the markup without having to manually program it in. So we found that through suggestions and workflows of our customers, this is something that was ideal. So our awesome engineering team was able to include this in our Revu 10. So I can go through each one of these markups, and as I'm clicking through, you see it'll jump exactly to that location. And you see I can also sort by the subject. So as I've created tool sets that have the subject of carpentry, I can actually filter out specifically for carpentry or cleaning. Using sort and filter through my markups list, I can easily create a summary list to then send to the appropriate contractor. Let's add a few more markups here just so you can see how that looks. If I have some cleaning that I would like to have taken care of, and also some electrical items, I can now sort and filter by the discipline. I can filter just to show my cleaning items, and you'll see that all the markups are still on my page, but only the cleaning items are in the bright color. Everything else has been grayed out. So now I can assign responsibility to each one of these markups just by double-clicking in here and assigning responsibility to who needs to pick those up. And very easily select the summary, and I can export this to Excel, or I can create a PDF summary. So what I'm going to do is create a PDF summary. I'm actually going to append it to this page. So I'm going to go Summary, PDF Summary. And since I've filtered out, it's just going to show me the items that I have filtered. So I'm going to append this to the current PDF. This is going to be the cleaning punch list in today's date. And I'm going to select OK. So Revu is now going to take all those markups, only the ones that I filtered, and add them to a nice tabulated list that I can email directly to my sub to make those comments. This could easily be used for consultants as well. If you have particular consultants that you want to filter and sort by each discipline, send them a task list that only shows what their responsibilities are. You can do that. Another great thing with this task list is it's hyperlinked. So as I click on the thumbnail, you'll see it'll hyperlink me directly to the original document so I can see it in context of the rest of the drawing. Use my back browser button to get back to the list, and so on and so forth. I can go through each one of these items in my task list and make sure that I take care of them accurately. So I've sent this out, and now I need to go back and do a back check. So let's call this my punch document. And I'm going to save this to my desktop. Now as I go back into the field, I need to really refer back to that original punch document, and I'm going to turn my filter off so I can begin to back check and make sure any of the items that I noted were corrected. For this, I don't need the specific subs information, so I can just delete that page by right-clicking in the thumbnails, and there it goes. As I'm going through, again, looking through each one of these punch items, there's a column here called Status. Now, Status allows me to, let's sort again by discipline, expand this column here in Status. Status allows me to right-click and set a status. Each one of these statuses will record the date and time at which the status was changed, as well as the information, whether it's accepted, rejected, canceled, or completed. Just a little tip with the statuses. If I go into Manage Status, I've got a few options here. Once I select, let's say, an item that's been accepted, I actually wanted to show me on the drawing to change to a color. I wanted to change to green. I can change it to any of the color I want right within the interface. So as I'm selecting these, I double-click or right-click, and I change the status to accepted. You'll see it's recorded my name, the time and the date, as well as the status. You'll also notice on the drawing it's changed to green. So very easily, at a glance, I can see which items are accepted and which ones haven't been or are still rejected. So I can go through and change any of these markups as I'm walking through the rooms to make sure that these items were picked up in the back check. Again, sort and filter to make sure that I can stay on top of that. So with the project approaching closeout and all the back check items have been corrected, we can now hyperlink any of these manuals or filter changes, equipment schedules. We can all hyperlink that to the original as-built set so that the owner has a nice PDF that he can sort through and use as a maintenance manual moving forward. It can all be done in PDF and really helps to consistently keep that as the project moves along. So that's all I've got for now. I've saved a little bit of time here at the end. And Vince, have you been getting any questions in the question field?
Yeah, we got some coming in. If anyone wants to shoot theirs in now, we'll go ahead and open up for Q&A. We'll get to one right here, right away from Danny. He was asking, can files be hosted on ProjectWise?
Absolutely. We have a direct integration for SharePoint and ProjectWise. So what that means is in your settings, you can actually program your credentials for ProjectWise and SharePoint. And each time you need to open a file, it'll do the check-in and check-out process for you directly through the interface. Good question.
That's great. So I have a question. I wanted to know if you guys offered any technical support through your website maybe, or additional resources that can help people if they run into any issues while using Revu 10.
Absolutely, yeah. So we understand that on a day-to-day basis you might have questions and you might actually run into an issue, and we want to make sure that we address those as quickly as possible. Under your Help tab here in the command bar, we've got a few options here. We've got some resources here for tutorials as well as a nice help guide that you can actually just type in a question and see search items in our help. But also we've got the ability to contact our tech support right within the ribbon. So this little lifesaver here, if you click the down button, you've got technical support. As I click that, it'll start a new message. It'll address it to support@bluebeam.com, and it will send a message directly to our support team here in Pasadena, California, and we'll be happy to address your questions. Just a note here, we are based in Pasadena, California. Everything is based out of California. There's nothing outsourced, so we'd just like you to know that we think it's important at Bluebeam to keep everything local. Also in this pull down, you'll see a make a suggestion. So if there's a workflow or an item that you wish you could have, please send us a suggestion. Those are reviewed by people here at Bluebeam every single day, and they're incorporated into our ongoing lists. You'll notice that overlay pages, that ability to align points, that was actually one of our top requests from last year. And true to our word, we put that into Review 10 because it was such a highly requested item that customers were wanting. So technical support right here, and make a suggestion real easy into under the Help tab in the command bar.
Great. Let's get to another question here. This one's from Luke, and he was asking if you could just do a Revit plugin recap.
Yeah, sure thing. I totally mentioned I would do that. Good reminder. So let's go ahead and open. I've got Revit 2012 loaded here. I know probably some of you are already on 2013, but we do have, with Review 10, we do have integration with 12 as well as 2013 now. So the plugin with our Review CAD edition or Review Extreme edition, you'll have a new tab in your ribbon in the Revit interface. So under add-ins, you'll see I have my Create PDF button. I also have my Change Settings if I'd like to modify the way in which these PDFs are created, both by multiple sheets in one set, the page setup. If I want to add any password security, control the bookmark organization, as well as adding stamps, file attachments, even digital signature fields, all at the point of creation from the plugin. You'll also notice that I can select multiple sheets similar to the Revit interface. I've now got the ability to batch create PDFs from my Revit sheets and views. To many of you, this will look very familiar, but with a couple improvements, might I add. Instead of just being able to filter sheets and views, our developer said, you know, we have a lot of customers that just want to quickly filter to elevations or different types of views. So we give you the option to filter for specific views, not just the generic sheets and views that Revit offers by default. As well as creating 2D PDFs, whether single PDFs or as a batch. We've also got the ability to create 3D PDFs, which I touched upon with that RFI response. If I go to a 3D view here, I've actually section boxed this stair tower off. I have a couple options. I can create a 3D PDF directly. I can export that U3D file like I showed in the example, or I can just easily copy this to the clipboard and paste it directly into Review. So as I have a Revit file here, and I want to create that 3D PDF, I just create that and name it however I want and select OK. Review is now going to export all those objects as U3D, then convert it to a 3D PDF for me, and open up that finished product in Review.
Great.
As we're showing here, and voila, there it is. Awesome, great question.
Excellent. Yeah. So here's one from Adam. He's asking about .dwf support.
Yeah, so DWF is the DWF file format that's exclusive and proprietary to Autodesk. We currently don't support DWF files, but if you can create those to PDF, then you can interact with them using the markup and editing tools in Review.
I see. Okay. Here's another one from Luke. He's asking, what's the status of the Bluebeam iPad app?
Awesome. I love that one. So we released, and we've got a lot of feedback to have the review on the iPad, because we understand mobility is super important for everyone this day and age. We released an iPad app in March, end of quarter one, and the iPad app is available for free. It's a PDF viewer today, so you can take your drawings out to the field and have that set and have it synced up with Box or your Dropbox.net account. We are working on markup tools to be able to actually take that technology out in the field with you on your iPad, and that's to be coming later this year, so stay tuned.
Excellent. Here's one from Danny again. He's asking, will it be available for the Android?
Yeah, that's a great question. Currently, we're just developing on the iOS platform. Other multi-platform support will be determined in the future. I don't have an answer on the Android or other multi-platform technologies today.
I see. So yeah, that's
make those suggestions, and the more suggestions we get, that's definitely how the priority hits us. So, Danny, keep sending us your suggestions, and others out there. We'd love to hear any suggestions or input you have on how you'd like to see Review in the future.
Yes, definitely. So that's all the questions we had. I don't know if you wanted to cover one last thing before we send things up for wrap things up.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about some of our 3D capabilities. I wanted to, again, we showed you the Revit plugin. I also want to identify that, the Revit model is rich with BIM data, and we'd like to obviously reference that as we're going downstream. So we've actually got the information available, again, using my 3D model tree tab here on the left, as well as my properties tab on the right. So as I click through each of the categories that I've exported from Revit, you'll see they're nice and neatly organized in the 3D model tree. Even if I expand these, I can see the different types of railing and some of the information. Again, that I and BIM, I can see some of that information transferred into the PDF. So as I click through each of the objects, I can even get some of the areas as well as that nice information coming from that Revit file that comes through the 3D PDF. These are great to really articulate and coordinate with different consultants that maybe those 2D plans or elevations don't quite cut it. Even with owners love to see progress, and I encourage you to keep your owner updated with 3D PDFs because with the PDF as being such a common file format, they're easily able to double-click on it and open in their PDF viewer to see the 3D model in PDF form, just so they keep up to date with the design. Awesome. Well, that's all I got now. I can go back to my initial contact page just to cover a quick recap here. Just to let you guys see, once again, we covered the Studio project, which is like the mini document management system that you can share PDF files as well as multiple other file types. Links to get you to have those hyperlink areas that you referred back to over and over. We also talked about the 3D PDFs from Revit. We also do support PDF creation from Navisworks Manage and Simulate, and you can then mark up those 3D PDF views using Revu. Also the ability to create those new layers to update the drawing sets, the spaces to help with those punch item lists, to add a little bit more metadata to your markups, the tool chest enhancements, as well as the toolbar, and as well as the entire interface. So thanks again for joining. Vince, I'll give the stage back to you to kind of give us some nice closing remarks.
Yeah, again, thank you, Stuart. Tremendous presentation. I think I speak for everyone when I say really enjoyed that. Fascinating stuff. I'm just going to switch the screen back to me and give a brief little send-off to everyone. So again, thank you, Stuart. Again, really tremendous stuff. I also want to thank everyone for attending another presentation of Novedge's Best of the Best webinar series. If you're unfamiliar with us here at Novedge, I just want to give a brief background. We're the leading online design software superstore. Not only do we have the best prices around, but our staff is extremely awesome, incredibly knowledgeable. We would love for you to call, chat with us at any time. We do have Bluebeam Revu CAD 10. It is available. We do have a best price guarantee on that. So definitely feel free to contact my colleague Bob Thayer at bob@novedge.com. He's our Bluebeam sales rep, and he'd be more than happy to help you with any questions about pricing on any of the Bluebeam products, not just for ViewCAD. Additionally, as Stuart mentioned, if you have any technical questions about Bluebeam, don't hesitate to email him. He as he said, he'd love to hear from you. Any feedback, definitely give him a ring if you're interested. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about before we sign off here is an online community we've created here at Novedge called WikiCAD. It's an online community dedicated to CAD users. On the site we have news, tutorials, training events, video tutorials, all things related to CAD. This webinar will be made available, recording of it, I should say, will be made available on there. So if you're interested in viewing the webinar again, definitely head over to wikicad.org and sign up. It's free to join, and I think you'll find it worth your while. So having said all that, again, I want to thank you, Stuart, and I want to thank all of you for attending. I don't know if, Stuart, you wanted to add anything real quick before we sign off?
Sounds great. Thanks again for organizing this, Vince. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, again, thank you, Stuart, and thank you for attending. We'll catch you guys next time.